Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, this is going to be a very difficult video for me to shoot. It's actually the first video I've shot since the passing of my father-in-law on May 19th, early in the morning. I know some of you know a little bit about what's going on, especially if you follow me on Instagram or on X, then you might know a little bit. So I just kind of wanted to share with you that, as tragic as this is, there was some really good things that happened around this. And so part of this is I'm just kind of sharing with you to update you on what's happened, so you just understand. But also the whole few weeks that led up to the passing of my father-in-law and why we can find joy in this, as difficult as it is. And so I'm going to start by going back a few months. Actually, for a couple of years, Patrick's dad has been trying to get him to, just sort of hinting around about how he'd really like to go over to Mississippi and Missouri and all these places over on the other side of the states from us, and just go look at some different sites and see some different things and see some people he hasn't seen in a while. And so this year it just worked out really good. And Patrick said, let's do this. Let's make it happen. Because both of them knew that his dad didn't have a whole lot longer. Yeah, I'll admit, initially I was like, oh, he's going to be gone for like 3 or 4 weeks. This is going to be tough. But then I just knew it was the right thing to do. And so what you're going to be seeing here is I'm going to be putting in some pictures, some old pictures, but also I'll be putting in some pictures of the vacation, the whatever you want to call it, that of Patrick and his dad while they were on the road. And Danny and Wanda, if you're watching this video, I just got to say that when he was in Mississippi, I reminded him that you guys live down there. So we had to go look up your town again and see exactly where you're located. And he seriously thought about going down there, but it would have added another whole 4 hours to their trip. It was just better to go ahead and go on to Branson, Missouri, and do the things that they were going to do there, which was one of the big things that my father-in-law really wanted to do. So Patrick drove down to California because that's where his dad lived, and he picked him up. I mean, he was ready to go. And so they traveled across Nevada and Utah and all the way across through Texas. They did make a stop. Let's see, I know they stopped and ate at a restaurant in Texas, and that's where that place where you can get like a 72-ounce steak, and if you eat it all, you get it for free. And so they saw some guy there. I don't know if he ever finished it. They didn't stick around, but they went to the Petrified Forest. They saw the Grand Canyon. When they went to Mississippi, it was to see an extended family member. And then while they were there, my father-in-law was just really, really wanting some deep fried okra. And so I guess he hadn't had it, done the right way in a long time. And, on our side of the states, you can't go to a restaurant and find something like that. It's just not very common. And so they stopped at this little place called Vonda's Country Kitchen. And the only reason I know this is because this picture I'm going to show you right here, there's a sign in the background. And I'm actually trying to get a hold of the owner of this restaurant, because what made this really special was that they went in there and she didn't actually have the deep fried okra on the menu for that day, because I think she kind of switches it up each day. And so Pat was kind of teasing her and saying, we came all the way from the West Coast so my dad could have some deep fried okra. And she said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make that happen for you. And so she just cooked him up just a huge batch, and he ate every bit. But it was really a special thing. And it's just one of those many things along the way that I'm so grateful that there was good people that made these things happen. And so then from there, they went on up to Branson, which was where all the main things were going on, because Dick really wanted to go see the Presleys. I'm sure some of you, especially in that area, would know who we're talking about, because he had watched them on TV. He really wanted to go see them, wanted to meet them live, which he did, and loved the show so much. And here's a picture of him just laughing so hard. And I absolutely love this picture of him just really enjoying himself. And then actually, because they ended up going 2 nights in a row, because the other show they were going to see, the next night, the people got laryngitis and had to cancel the show. So they went back and watched the Presleys again, and they were so impressed that they came back that they kind of went out of their way to make sure they got a live picture up directly with them instead of just with cardboard cutouts. And then they also did a riverboat, steamboat tour. I guess I don't totally understand, but here's a picture of Patrick and Dick at the helm, and which I love this picture. But then from there, they just came back across the upper part of the United States and stopped and saw a few things, because one of the things that his dad really wanted to see was Crazy Horse. So they made sure they saw that. Of course, they also went to Devil's Tower. The funny thing about that story is that, about the Crazy Horse, is he really wanted to see that, but he had absolutely no interest in seeing Mount Rushmore, because he says, why would I want to go look at those crooks? I'm sorry, but that just made me laugh. That was so him. And so, then they came back, they stopped and saw a couple more family members in Idaho. And then the next stop was our place, so that he could see all the family, the grandbabies, because all Patrick's sisters are here, and then their kids and their kids. And so we had a really wonderful evening that Friday night right here at the house. We had a big family gathering, and all the grandbabies were here, all the kids were here, and it was really a blessed time. It was a blessed time. And then Saturday, the very next day, was my grandson Jace's birthday party over at my youngest son's house and his wife's. And so we went over there, and a couple more family members came just to be there because, they want to be with their dad and see him as much as they possibly can. And, things were seeming to go really well. And then he said he had to get up and use the restroom. And so Patrick kind of helped him get into the restroom, and he wasn't in there but a few seconds when he collapsed. And it just so happens that my son's one of his best friends is a nurse, as is his wife, and they were both there. They did the best they could. The medics came within 5 minutes because we're not that far from the hospital. And they did the best they could, and he just didn't make it. He passed away at 2:18 Sunday morning. And it was very, very difficult. It's been very difficult on Patrick. But one of the things that we have to hold on to is that he really kind of went out with a blaze of glory. He got to see all these sights. He got to see all the people he wanted to see at least one last time. And I've shared this story with a couple people, and one of them was, the funeral home we're going through, the director, and he said, very few people have a story like that to share. And a couple other people said that. And it was just, the very next day, Patrick would have been driving him back down to California, where he would have been in an empty house because he lost his wife about a year earlier, if even that long ago. And he's been very lonely down there. It just seemed like it was all the way it was meant to be. And as difficult as it has been on all of us, Rufus was a really good man. His real name was Rufus. A lot of family members called him Dick and Papa Dick by the grandbabies and so on. He was a really, really good man. He always looked out for everyone. He was very caring. And a little history on him: he grew up in North Carolina, up until his teens, and then they moved over to California. Anyway, so he still has a lot of that Tar Heel in him, and beans and cornbread were one of his favorite meals. I had to learn how to make that. And I even have a video on, I call them Tar Heel beans and cornbread. And I'd never heard of such a thing, especially that type of cornbread. It's not like the Johnny cake that we're used to, which we always called cornbread, and come to find out that's not technically cornbread by the people, that live in North Carolina and probably other surrounding states there. So I just wanted to share that. And again, this is just going to replace my regular Monday This and That video, so I can get this out as soon as possible, so people sort of kind of know. This is why I've been rather quiet on YouTube, just doing only what I absolutely have to on there to kind of keep things going smoothly. And I have been seeing some of the comments coming in, a lot of comments of people praying, and you know, the emails that have been coming in. I want to say, you know, even if I don't respond to all these things, I really, really appreciate it. We really appreciate your thoughts and prayers and just really thinking about us, but also just know that, you know, again, as I said, that the whole story, the way everything happened, it couldn't have happened in a better way at a better time. He was surrounded by family in the last minutes of his life, just totally surrounded by them and having a good time. And I think that's the way it should be. So anyway, I just want to get that out there, as I knew this was going to be a hard one to shoot, but also know that I did just remaster basically the old video we shot of Patrick's dad back in 2016, and that will be coming out on June 4th. I have that scheduled to publish, and it's just an interview we did with him then, and you know, just sharing some of the stories of his life growing up on a farm, and we thought a lot of people would appreciate it. So I did some more editing, kind of tried to improve the quality of the video and add a few photos and different things to make it more interesting as well in that way, more visually interesting. And so be watching for that video to come out June 4th. And I might also be sharing the slideshow once I finish it. It's actually going to be a pretty long slideshow. He was a very loved man, and he was very, very active in a lot of different things. And so a lot of photos. And there's so many more that I can't even put in there because it'd just be way too long. So I might put that on YouTube as well. It might be out much farther, and Rumble, of course. So anyway, again, thanks so much for everything. You know, just the concern, just the caring, just the reaching out, and your lovely comments was very much appreciated. Just the knowing there's people that love and support us all. So thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.